Hello there, good morning on a Thursday morning. We're way down the beach today with little Mia, the little Spanish Podenco. She's still not being herself since she lost her little sister a few weeks ago, but we're trying to keep her happy. So I'll not be going live tomorrow night, Friday night, because I'll actually be in Manchester. So we're going down to Manchester. Well, we're going to do an event on the Saturday at St Matthew's Hall in Manchester. What I'll do is I'll attach the link for the email and the address, just in case anyone wants any last minute tickets to pop along there. I think it starts at 10 in the morning, I think, till 5, something like that. So anyway, I'll be down in Manchester, looking forward to going. I'm not taking my car. Last time I went away, it was the 1st of May. 1st of May, that was like down in Birmingham, right, when they smashed my car in, and I still haven't got my car back. Still haven't got it back. You know, it's nearly August now. They said they're having difficulties because they've got a staff shortage and shortage of spare parts because there's a war on. Oh my. Crazy, huh? So anyway, I'll be down in Manchester for that event on the Saturday, so I'll not be obviously going live because I'll have to be travelling. So hopefully, if you're going there, you know, get there nice and safe, and I will see you down there. So down the beach, it's empty. Only 1 or 2 people walking the dogs this morning. Last couple of days, even at this time in the morning, 6:30, you know, it was packed out. People going swimming. You don't blame them. You know, it was a very nice day. But obviously the press had us all dying in our droves, you know, because it was a hotter day. You know, the insanity of them, you know, and the amount of ridiculous comments that you see with like, oh yes, because it's like, you know the words. I don't even like using the words because you get like knocked off for absolutely crazily anything, right? But they're saying it's just getting hotter and hotter all the time, and we're all gonna die. It's just nuts, isn't it? It's like the lame stream media feeding the sheeple, you know. It's just, sometimes it gets like unbearable listening to the twaddle that gets pumped out. What are you doing, Mia? Come on, let's walk along here a bit. Trying to get her a walk. She's not too bad at the minute, but she seems to have like not too caring for walking or anything right now. Never even ate anything yesterday. Saying that, might have just been too hot for her as well. It's pretty cool today, so fingers crossed she has her breakfast. Mia. Alright. So, now I'm not going to say any names or anything, but a couple of stories from chatting to people this week. One thing I found out was, like, you know, about the Rothschild family. Again, you know, they actually now own the English Premier League. So they've actually took, I don't know exactly when that was, but we were told that they've took over the English Premier League, and as soon as they took over the English Premier, right, they turned it into a trust. Oh, she's getting excited now, she's jumping around. Mia! Oh! They turned it into a private trust. Isn't that interesting? Now, I'm not going to go on about why we know that. It's a bit of a story, you know, and I'm definitely not saying names, but, like, you know, the doings of the cabal and the elites, we call themselves. I certainly don't. All that money and the trusts, and how they actually create the more and more wealth, all through trusts. So I keep telling you, people, you need to get your trusts sorted out, you know. Now there's, whoa Mia, what are you doing? Whoa, hang on, dancing now. Whoa, she's spinning around. Yeah, you're gonna hurt your neck, man. You're mad. You're mad. Well, that's better though. You've never been jumping around happy like that for ages. Oh, crazy. Now, another thing we get asked quite a lot about is birth certificates. When people are having their children, well, they shouldn't call their children, when they're having their sons and daughters, saying, well, I don't want to register the birth, I don't want to do the birth certificate. And I'm getting a lot of pressure and grief from the registrar, from the council, or whoever it is, you know, like, register, you know, you'll not get this, you'll not get that. You know, and I know quite a few people that have not registered their sons and daughters' births, haven't got birth certificates, and they have passports and they travel freely, no problems. And I have others, right, and they were like, well, they were on benefits because of some kind of invalidity or something anyway. And then someone actually, like the council or whatever it is, said we can't find a birth certificate, so we need the birth certificate, you need to get registered, or, and it cancelled the payments. So this is what we're going to do. So you know, basically I says, well, that's trespass by way of theft. If that's something that you're entitled to and they're stopping you from getting it for your whatever son or daughter, then that's trespass by way of theft. So you've got to understand how powerful the word trespass is. Alright, I'm not talking about trespassing, that's a past tense, alright, and it doesn't actually make sense, it's not a real word. Right, we're talking about the word of trespass. Okay, just like in the Lord's Prayer, they talk about trespass because it's a very, very powerful word. Alright, when we're doing notices, if anybody trespasses, or at least causes us a wrong, to go to a harm, to a trespass, this is how we do our notices. Now we're talking about being a man or a woman at law. Okay, this is how we use it. It's not common law. Common law, that can get you into a lot of trouble if you're using the term common law. Alright, so like King Richard II, he was the first one to use that term common law, which is how he actually established the, I forget the word now, but he actually established the Chancery Court, because he got his Chancellor to actually run his court. He made the law common to everyone, right? Because at the time there was, like, you know, one lord in one like area, he would have his law, and then another lord in another area would have his law. So he travelled the country with his court, and he made it a law common to all. Everyone had to have the same law. And when they had the common law courts, right, the court of the king, then all these people would be taking their grievances to the king. Now eventually, like, it's getting far too busy for the guy, so he set up his Chancellor, the Lord Chancellor, to do it for him, so he could go off and do whatever he wanted. So now, come on a few thousand years, well, 1,000 years, isn't it? But we still have the Chancery Court, but we're actually running the two courts that we have, and they run under equity. So the equity, that's where you see justice. On the equity courts, they do not use common law, because the common law, that is the law that is set by judges. Now I'm telling you how they see it. So when you use the term common law, right, you're talking to solicitors or barristers, judges, all right, maybe not the police, because I don't think that they've got the intelligence to know what any of it is. Then they will say, well, what if you're saying common law, you must mean the precedent set by judges when they actually make their decisions, and they create what are called a precedent, and everybody has to follow, all the other courts and the lower courts have to follow the case law. So case law creates precedent that people have to follow, other judges have to follow, usually by like Lord Chief Justice this, Lord Chief Justice that. One of them being Lord Chief Justice Donaldson, when he stated that you can remove the implied rights of access. So you've got these idiots coming up that say, I've got a warrant and I can get into your home. So I've removed your rights, your implied rights of access. So you can do it in writing, you can do it verbally, and it's on case law proven that you can do that. So we recently had some clowns coming up and going, oh, that means nothing. You know, and I said, so you've got a higher rank and more important than Lord Chief Donaldson from the High Court. Right, so the old clown in costume turned away, went, ha ha, and walked away. Probably because he hasn't got a clue what I'm talking about, right? Because they've got about as much common sense as a flea. Or actually, no, fleas have probably got more common sense, right? Hanging around on the dogs, biting their bum. But that's common law, precedent set by judges. So be careful on the words you use, the terminology that you say. When you're a law, and you're not a common law, it's law common to I, law common to man. You set your law, you express your law. So when you do your law, right, by setting up like the removing the implied rights of access, that's your law, and you're setting it on your land, and your land is private, and you still own it as your property, proper to I, my property. The rights to property are the highest rights a man and a woman can have. Remember, the law is all about a man and a woman, right? Without being a man and a woman standing at law, you have no rights. And under the equity jurisdiction, if you do not express your rights, you have none. It's very clear, it's very plain, it's easy to see. You just got to do a bit of research, a bit of reading. Alright? So, the law that you can stand at, then you express it. And you stand under it and stand in your power. Okay, and that's how you can actually deal with these people. Alright, you don't say the terms, what? Mia, what are you doing? Common law. Let's turn this around a little bit, have a look. A little bit less sunny. Still nice. There's the harbour there. Got our little Spanish girl there, Spanish Podenco. Mia. Oh. Hello. There's the empty beach. A couple of people a mile away down there. Janine was swimming in there the other day. I went for a paddle, I had about 2 inches of water on my ankles. But that's about it for me. Still freezing the water for me, I tell you. And I had spent like 5 years in the Royal Navy having to get like soaking wet and freezing in the North Sea, and whoa. So I've had enough of cold water, like soaking me to death. Oh, but anyway, that's how you actually stand at law, being there, a man or a woman. Hence the reason why you're having all these things happening. Alright, they're not for no reason, and they're not for the reasons a lot of people think. Okay, but anyway, this woman who was like, when I says, look, just send a notice, said, well, I'm going to say that you were causing a trespass by way of theft if you're not going to give me the money, the benefits for the child. And lo and behold, within a couple of days there, the money was restored, all the back money and everything. Now when you're standing at law and you're using the law, stand as a man or a woman, things happen. Okay, so you've got to be careful on how you write your notices. It's got to be I a man, I a woman. You got to kind of talk as if you're like a little bit back at the caveman days, you know. So we're Barney Rubble in them, and Wilma. Come on, Mia, we're going to go up here. Whoop. So I'm going to be covering, when I go to Manchester, we're going to be covering moving into the private, how to live in the private. You see, there is two realms, the private realm and the public realm. And still, it takes a lot to understand it. Not many people get to comprehend, I should say. Although you can understand it in the public because you stand under. That's where it comes into statutes and legislation. So still, remembering that we're talking about like you expressing your law, which means that statute and legislation is not law. And it's if you haven't consented to it, then you don't stand under the statutes. Go on the Meadles, let's go this way. Oh dear. Come on, up on here. So that's what we need to do, is actually set ourselves up living in the private, talking about being in the private. We don't engage with acts and statutes or legislative bodies, right, like councils and clowns in costumes. Yeah, your old council and your clowns in costumes and anything like that. Now it's up to anybody, and you all got to do your own thing, what you want to pay for, what you don't want to pay for. I'm not telling anyone how to do anything, but just supplying the information to make, you know, it ready for you to make your own decisions. Coming up the harbour now, get a little bit quieter away from the sea crashing on the shore. So we're in Manchester, we'll be covering going into the private, standing in the private, but also we will be going over private trusts as well, on how to set yourself up in private trusts. Now the thing is, it's got like everyone's got their own ideas and say, oh yeah, but it's just a piece of paper. Well, you know, you can still stand under the creator, being a man or a woman, and you can use that piece of paper, which is exactly what it is, to create a private trust. And on the private trust you can actually protect your assets. Now we're in a transition period. Now in the transition period we have to, getting dragged everywhere, she's tiny as well, isn't she? You've seen her. On this transition period we still have to use some of the public things to, you know, navigate the existence of being here. Hence we do the lasting power of attorney with the office of the public guardian. You know, because you could accidentally end up in hospital with not being able to talk for yourself, and without the lasting power of attorney by the office of the public guardian, you know, they can end up just doing anything to you, and you certainly don't want that. Right? But on the private trust documentation, which you can create for yourself, or you can get someone else to create it for you, you know, it matters not, then, you know, you can actually protect your assets. And that could be, you know, just everything that you own inside your house, or it might even be your house. Now you can still do it if you have a mortgage. What you're going to do is you're going to put your equity of the property, your percentage that is not, you know, encumbered by the mortgage. Now you do have to actually tell the mortgage lender that you're doing this, but it's not going to affect their part of it, because they will have their charge on the land registry, so they'll be first in line. So if you did sell the property, they're going to get it before you even see anything. Alright, they're first in line, first in time. Wait. But you can still have the private trust, and it's still going to protect your assets, because your name is not going to be on the actual asset as the owner. So when you're actually going to get any hassle or grief or anything, or they're going to try and, you know, attack you, say for instance, you know, you wanted to have some kind of battle, could be with a personal loan or what do you call it, the council tax or anything like that, you know, they are going to have a fight. They're not going to turn around and go, oh, you've caught me, you've found out, I best spin around here. Well, the little me is spinning me around. You know, we'll just let you off with this now. They're going to fight you. Now they can do all sorts of things, okay, and threaten. They do threaten loads of ridiculous things, even imprisonment. But they definitely go after the assets. You see now, not everybody, still not everybody knows this, but if you have a debt of over £5,000, so £5,001, then anyone who has that debt against you can apply for a bankruptcy order against you. Alright, so the council, they make fortunes off repossessing people's homes. They make more money off doing that than any council tax, and they make millions of council tax. They're repossessing homes left, right and centre. So they love it when you're not going to pay your council tax. And then they slyly go, you know, behind the scenes. The next thing you know, you've got a bankruptcy order on you. But what happens if you actually haven't got your name on the asset, right? So they can't take your house because it's not in your name. It's in the name of a trustee, and the trustee of the blah 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 private trust. Well, they can't do anything. They can't, you know, go and try and put a bankruptcy order on a trustee or a property address. It has to be the legal fiction, your legal fiction, full capitalized name, supplied by the government, a commercial entity. You know, your legal fiction, your full capitalized name is a commercial entity. So if it's got just the trustee, which on the land registry it should just say, right, the title holder is the trustee, not a name, and you don't have to give a name. And if you actually do this and then you ring up the land registry and they say, oh no, you have to give a name, the name of the trustee, well, you're talking to a junior Agnes in the office who know nothing. Right, I've done this many times, spoken to many managers and have great conversations with the land registry. They're extremely helpful when I ring up, treat them correctly, and they help me in so many ways with the different forms that we actually have to complete. All you have to do is put trustee. You don't give a name because it's private. Alright, and then you put, the next line would be the name of the trust, whatever it is. Okay, so if it was little Mia here, it would like Mia My Meedles Spanish Podenco Private Trust. And then the asset is hidden in a private trust, as all assets are hidden in private trusts for these people who have got this massive wealth. Right, so if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for us. Okay, so we've got to start really pushing hard now, right, to like get in these private trusts, because it's going to help you, you know. And in the private trusts as well, pushing everything to be in the private is to set up your PMAs, private members associations, okay, so that whatever that you are doing is not in a commercial world, it is in the private realm. You're not going into commerce, you're not selling products or your services, or, you know, working. You haven't got a job, right? Remember, you shouldn't have a job. What it is, when you say job, that sounds like an illegal thing to do, doesn't it? You hear them, the bank robbers, oh, I'm going on a job. Well, I'm not doing that. Okay, what I'm going to do is I actually I have sweat equity, if you want to call it that. I have labour, if you want to call it that. And I'm not going to have an income, and I'm not going to work for an income. Okay, we have private donations for private sweat equity, and that's it. It's an exchange of energy. All right, and that's the way it should be. It's all in the private. So hence the PMAs, Private Members Association, and we do ours on a ministerial level. I'm spinning around again. I'm not just trying to show you the scenery. She's spinning around. Oh, Mia, stop it. Ugh. She likes eating rabbit poo. Come on. You're getting your breakfast in a minute. You wouldn't eat your dinner yesterday. forgotten what I was talking about now. Okay. The PMAs, we do ours in a ministerial, faith-based private members association. So what is the faith-based? Well, we have faith in nature and faith in the Creator, and faith in the nature of the Creator. That's our faith. So it's a faith-based organisation, an unincorporated organisation. It is not. It is 100% not under government. It is stated it is called a non-governmental organisation, an NGO. So it isn't just an unincorporated association, and then go and Google, which you probably do use Google, oh, what's an unincorporated association? Oh look, it's under Acts and Statutes. And under Acts and Statutes, spinning again, it says blah 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 about an unincorporated association. You being a sole trader, registering yourself with HMRC as a sole trader, and I am going to declare, and I am going to do a self-assessment, right? In other words, grass yourself up and declare you have an income. Well, if you've got an income, then you've got to pay tax. If you've got an income and you declare yourself, you know, a sole trader or whatever it is, then you've got to do what you're supposed to do, because you're now a person. And all persons must pay tax. All persons are underneath Acts and Statutes. All persons must do what they're told, like little boys and girls, the children, actually, the persons, the little fools that cannot handle their own affairs, that cannot look after each other, and are going to sit and complain to a government, I want some money, right? Whereas instead of like standing as a man or a woman, and you're standing as in the private, and you're not asking the government for anything, and you're certainly not telling them what you're going to be doing, because it's all private, okay? So don't get confused with the Private Members Association being an unincorporated association. The Crown Corporation, by the way, is a Private Members Association and is an unincorporated association. Alright, the Crown Corporation, the thing that run the whole bloody, or maybe it's not the whole planet, but half of it, alright, the ones that are getting their asses kicked right now by Putin and the BRIC. Alright, that's like Brazil, India, Brazil, Russia, India, China, which is the alliance. And there's others that are joining them to go against the Biden crime family. You know, that good old fat boy Doris is, fair enough, he's left, but they were telling him what to do underneath Klaus Schwab with his WEF, right? But he just tells, you know, everyone what to do, like under his WEF, because the Club of Rome have told him what to do. So he's not in charge of jack shit neither. And the Club of Rome, alright, they're only doing what they're told to do because the Committee of 300 have passed out their instructions. So, you know, and up it goes right up to the families, the 13 families, the Venetians and so on. But there you are. Alright, so just get in mind about being in the private. We need to be moving more and more and more in the private and standing as a man and woman. So I'm going to shoot off now anyway. Hopefully, even though she's eating loads of rabbit poo, that she'll still have a breakfast this morning. Alright, and I'm going to go. So I'm travelling down to Manchester at the weekend. You're going down there. Alright, hopefully we'll see you. We'll have a good time. And we will be going over all the different material, helping everybody out. Okay, you take care now and we'll see you soon.